Yeah.
Oh, that's not too bad. You literally look like a little kid when you're doing that, and you're like, yeah, press up and down, like moving your legs.
Well, when it comes to my sweets, I basically am a little kid, so yeah.
Alright, so something.
This is actually kind of fun. I probably shouldn't keep doing this because it'll probably break the chair, but it's actually kind of fun. Okay, guys, so you may have noticed that our background is a little different than usual. You want to explain why?
Yeah, so as you may have seen in our last video, we actually made it to Florida for our trip. We're just waiting for our apartment to be ready in Atlanta, so we'll be up there soon. But we are here now, so we're in a new background, as you can see. And we just wanted to let you guys know before we got into the video, just so you're not like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So that's why. So anyway, we just wanted to give you a quick update, so let's get into the video.
Hey guys! So today, I don't really know how you would describe it, but today...
Your mood, or?
I don't know if I should be offended by that or not.
No, I'm kidding. You're in a very bouncy mood right now.
Yes, I am in a very bouncy mood. And it kind of relates to what we're talking about today, but at the same time, it's just me being hyper and being excited that it's almost Saturday and I get to have my snacks, as we just discussed. So today we're going to be talking about something that we kind of both have been dealing with lately. And you just stopped on.
Yeah, probably.
Now I'm all self-conscious. Oh my god. Again, it kind of goes into what we're doing. So
yeah, I guess so.
Perfect.
Perfect.
So like, we're gonna kind of talk about it more specifically into acting, but I know like all sorts of people kind of deal with this anyway. But today we're gonna be talking about anxiety and how to deal with it, and kind of just to remind yourself that I'm acting loopy right now, and I feel like this is my anxiety actually coming out right now. So again, this is kind of perfect.
Yeah.
But you know, just to tell yourself like everything's gonna be okay. Like you're not dying, because I know for me specifically, like it quite literally feels like I'm dying. So obviously that's not fun. But you know, just ways to handle it and sort of how to go about it in life, especially as an actor. You know, our lives are pretty anxiety filled when it comes to auditions and booking jobs with all that uncertainty, and I know I definitely deal with that. So yeah. So I guess we could start off with like, I don't know, how our anxiety has affected us and
like in a
how we've kind of dealt with it.
In a personal and then a professional level?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And our like worst experience. Okay. So for me, both like in life and as, you know, a professional trying to be an actor, I've always had anxiety, and especially like, you know, going to AMDA, like it's private performing arts school, and you know, when you get in, it's like, oh, like there's all these really talented people around here, and like going to auditions after that with that on your resume, it's kind of stressful. Especially me, that I already stress myself out a lot, and I'm a very paranoid as a person half the time. No, I swear I'm not schizophrenic or bipolar or anything. I'm just crazy. But like for me, sometimes I'd like go to audition and like my throat would feel like it's closing up, or like sometimes like I would get kind of shaky, or I would just be like really negative mentally, and obviously that didn't help. But I think my absolute worst experience of it, which was again like literally terrifying, 2 months ago in January, after it was like right around my birthday, like a couple days after, I woke up in the middle of the night, and I'm like my anxiety's coming out right now just talking about it, because it was terrifying. Like I quite literally thought like I was gonna have a heart attack. Like I thought my heart was gonna explode in my chest, and it was just done. Like nothing after that. Like I'm actually getting really emotional. Okay. Ooh, I need to calm down. So yeah, like I remember waking up in the middle of the night from a nightmare, and obviously like, you know, you wake up and your heart's racing and whatever. But like for a good, like it felt like 5 or 10 minutes, and my heart would not stop like racing, and it felt, I like could feel it throughout my body, and then I felt this weird like like warm tingling sensation everywhere, and my arm was really tight, and I was like, oh my god, like I'm having a heart attack, like I'm having all the symptoms of a heart attack right now. And of course I was freaking out, and then I wake him up, and then he's just like, you're fine, like you are not having a heart attack at the age of 23 when you know you're not in that bad health, like calm down. And for a couple like weeks after that, on and off, like I was having a lot of anxiety attacks, and it's not something like that I've ever had to that degree before. Like again, that's the worst sort of situation I've ever had with it. And I know for a lot of people, like sometimes it springs out of nowhere. Like we were watching America's Next Top Model the other day, and one of the girls in the final episode, she just randomly started shaking, and she said that her vision got blurry, and you know, and it turned out she was having a panic attack. Like it could literally come out of nowhere, which is kind of scary because again, when all of a sudden things completely go out of control and your body kind of like, I don't know, collapses on you and it feels like you're dying, like that's a terrifying situation. And so for me, especially being that I stress myself out a lot and that I'm semi-paranoid already, you know, it's not fun to feel like half the time like, oh my god, my heart's racing, or oh my god, I feel it pounding through my chest. Like honestly, to hear my heart beat right now is a trigger for me. Like I'll go to bed, and no matter which way I lay, like especially if I lay like on my wrist or something, like I'll hear the pulsate of my heart, and it freaks me out to the point where, like, you know, at one point I was afraid to go to sleep or to eat, and that's terrifying. And especially being an actor, like it's kind of like, you know, you have crazy schedules already, and again, the uncertainty of like, okay, how am I going to do in this audition today, or am I going to book this job? Especially if you're a full-time actor, where it's like, okay, how am I going to pay my bills, especially if I'm in SAG, where those bills are not cheap. Like, you know, it's very kind of crippling, but then also just a matter of like, you know, me just how I'm acting right now. Like I'm a little like spastic right now, and you know, I'm really like, tend to be just fidgety because again, like I tend to be an anxious person just in general, but then especially in the last couple months. So, you know, it's something that's really hard to deal with as any person, but then especially, you know, being in the entertainment world where, you know, there's a lot that can go wrong very quickly. I feel like even more so in a lot of other jobs. So, and especially right now during COVID, like there's so much more of that. So it's like, yeah. That's me. Now, your turn.
Yeah, but I'll kind of like expound on what you said. So,
expound?
Yeah, like elaborate. Right?
Okay.
So I've also had anxiety things. They kind of manifest themselves in different ways.
Yeah.
But I used to do shows as well, and like musical theater shows.
Mm-hmm.
And I would get like super nervous before shows, even before rehearsals.
Yeah.
Like to the point where I was like shaking, like super nervous. Like it's not logical. Like anxiety is not logical.
Yeah.
So you can't really like tell yourself, oh, don't be nervous, because it doesn't work. It's like it's a chemical thing more than just like a self-talk thing.
Yeah.
So I would get like super nervous and like be like, I don't know what to do here.
Yeah.
So then I would show up and I wouldn't do that great because I'm so nervous, and you're just trying to even get through it, let alone like actually be good.
Neat.
Because you can never really truly be free unless you're open, and you can be a little anxious, but once it starts, you want to be free to do your thing and trust your instincts and things like that. The things I used to do to cope were not necessarily the greatest. Like I tried a lot of different things. The best thing that I found was to take like supplements and to watch your eating and watch your sleep and exercise. Those are the best things. I always say that there's 3 things in life that you really need to watch and perfect to feel your best.
Which
that's eat right, eat your best.
Which we haven't been doing.
Yeah. Sleep really well.
Also have struggled with.
So get to bed on the right time, don't stay up super late, wake up at the same time, things like that. And then exercise. Yeah. Then you don't have to kill yourself exercising. Yeah. Don't work out 2 hours a day because you feel like that's what you gotta do. No, you can do 15 minutes a day or less. That's all you need to do. Yeah. Now if you're trying to train for a contest or something, then you want to do more. But just the sheer maintenance level, you don't even do that much. Yeah. People over-exercise too much. So those 3 things will solve a lot of your health and wellness issues in general.
Yeah. I will say, especially for me, like, obviously, as you heard at the beginning of this video, I'm always craving something. I am very picky and like pretty much all things that are completely awful for me. And you know, if you ask any of my family growing up, I wanted nothing to do with the gym, so the thought of exercising is kind of like, huh? And especially for me, like I've always had insomnia. Like I've always, at least that I can remember, I've always had issues with like sleeping throughout the night or, you know, not going to bed at weird times. So especially for me lately, it's been a struggle, but like it really is true. Like once you get all those things in order, like, you know, for us, like we've been cutting down on the sugar, and you know, when I haven't had sugar in a while, like at first, yeah, it kind of turns up the anxiety, but then after a while it's kind of like, okay, your body gets used to it. And exercising honestly really helps. Like even if I just do 5 straight minutes of cardio, like I feel so much better.
Part of why she's bouncing off the walls right now is because we exercised this morning.
Yeah, so I'm very hyper right now.
But exercise gives you energy too.
Yes.
It's a misnomer. If you exercise, you're gonna be tired. No, it's the opposite.
It's kind of a matter of doing the right exercise.
Yeah, as long as you don't overdo it.
Yeah.
Again, which is kind of the point we're making before. Don't overdo it. Do it the right amount. Yeah. So. Yeah,
just do a little bit every day, and like obviously, yes, you want to build on top of that eventually, and again, don't kill yourself. But I honestly feel like it really, really helps. And sometimes, like, you know, I'm like, okay, I can either work out, which is not fun half the time, or I can have a super bad anxiety attack where I feel like I'm dying. Such a difficult decision to make. Yeah, no, I would much rather do like, you know, a minute plank, which honestly, even that sometimes if I'm having like really bad anxiety in one moment, I just do a few seconds, minute of a plank, and I'm like, okay, I feel better. Like, or even a couple push-ups or something. Like, honestly, I feel like in that sense, people undermine how much anxiety can really be handled by just working out a little bit. So, you know, don't have to go 2 hours. You don't have to get a gym membership today. Just find a space, do a couple, you know, jumping jacks, sit-ups, something, so that way it could help you get out that tension. Because, like, I know for me, especially, you know, being sort of not trapped, but sitting in his apartment for the better part of a year during COVID definitely did not help. You know, I joke all the time that I hate people, so, you know, just to be in a little bubble with him, it's like, oh, this is perfect. But then, you know, after all that, that's when this started happening. So obviously, even if I thought it was a good thing and taking it for face value, yeah, subconsciously my brain was like,
Yeah, so
no.
Just to like list some things that are happening now because everybody's like staying at home.
Yeah.
So number one, when you go to a job or something, you're actually moving around more than you think. Like we used to work in a theater, so we used to walk around all the time. So you would get like at least 10,000 steps easy. You kind of underestimate that. You don't have to like fully like exercise, like get your heart rate up to get benefits from moving around at least. So when you're staying at home, you're not moving around. So you have to be conscious about that, and you have to make sure that you get out and move around. Also, the eating part from being at home, you can kind of just buy stuff in the store, eat way too much. At least at a restaurant, like it's one portion. There's some restaurants that give you way too much food.
And even then, we don't mean fast food restaurants.
Yeah, but you just want to be careful with that as well, and just make sure your eating part is right as well. So and then the sleeping part, you want to make sure you're going to bed at the same time. And then when you're at home a lot, you just want to watch your screen time. So that's the number one thing that will help your sleep is to turn off screens at least an hour and a half before you go to bed. That will help not only you fall asleep, but you help you to get better REM sleep. Because people don't really realize that when you sleep, it's not about the hours or the numbers that you sleep. So you can get 8 hours of sleep and feel like crap,
which I've had happen.
Or you can get 6 hours of sleep and feel great. It's more of the quality. So to do that, turn off blue light will help you and get into deep REM sleep. Going to bed at the same time, having a sleep routine. So like taking a shower, brushing your teeth, going to bed. Like so your body knows, okay, now we're starting the process. Your body will release the melatonin that it needs naturally. If you need help with that, you can also take a melatonin supplement.
And tell them about the sunlight thing.
Yes, and you also want to get sunlight in the morning. That helps a lot. It helps set your circadian rhythm. That literally just means that your body has a natural rhythm, just like we have rhythms and music and other things. Your body has a natural rhythm. So it's that you know, everybody's different, but let's just say at 7 o'clock, it's like, oh, everybody's like, okay, it's wake up time. And then 8 o'clock, it's like, okay, now it's, we need to go out and do something in the sun time. And then at 9 o'clock at night, it's like, okay, it's bedtime. So then your body naturally releases the melatonin and other hormones that help you go to bed. And then you fall asleep and you just repeat the process. That's called your circadian rhythm. So you want to make sure that that's in sync and in line and doing well. If you're going to bed and waking up at different times, your rhythm you can never get a rhythm. You can never establish it. So you just want to make sure that that's consistent.
And that was his nerd out moment for the day.
Yeah. Nerd out moment for the day.
Yeah, and for us, like, of course, again, thank God I'm with the genius here, because if it weren't for him, my anxiety would be a lot worse lately. But, you know, like, he was telling me some supplements that I could take, like, if you take fish oil, which I know sounds weird, but at least, like, okay, if you're like me that's paranoid about having a heart attack, even though that's very unrealistic, as we know, fish oil is also good for your heart, but so it apparently also helps with anxiety. So, you know, take that if you're not already, because it will help you out. Then we've been taking tryptophan, or I've been taking tryptophan, to help with your serotonin levels, because when you're having sugar, you know, it sends all those happy cells to your brain. It's like, ooh, I'm happy, you know, the dopamine that we all feel. But then when you're not getting that, your brain's like, wait, what's happening? What's going on? Like, it gets all spastic, like me every other day. So when you take the tryptophan, it kind of balances that out. So your brain doesn't go into panic mode when it's not getting all that sugar, because that sugar's not good for you anyway. And plus, sugar is kind of also the demon that got you into this mess, which was definitely my case, because I really like sugar.
Yeah, that's the trouble with sugar, is it helps you in the short term, but it really hurts you in the long term.
Yeah.
It'll help you for like a few hours. It'll make you feel better because you get that dopamine hit.
Yeah.
But for the rest of the 16 hours during your day, you're going to be not feeling good.
Just think of the whole sugar high thing. You know, you'll feel good for an hour after having a bunch of sugar, and then you crash. We don't want to crash, especially when, again, we feel like we're dying when we're crashing. And it's a big no-no. But that, and then melatonin, I know for me, I know it doesn't work for you, but for me, some brands don't work for me either, so you just have to find the right one. I take 10 milligrams, because anything less than that, I'm just like staring at the ceiling for an hour when I go to bed, which is not fun either. So, you know, it's just coming up with the right thing for you. And even anxiety in itself, like, you know, it's different for a lot of people. Like, I know I have family who has anxiety, and they, you know, if they are in a situation where they're around a lot of people, or if, you know, sometimes just getting in a car can easily trigger them, but then they're perfectly fine going to sleep. They sleep like a baby. Whereas me, like, you know, there's not necessarily a lot of things that trigger me, but half the time, like, if I'm not doing anything, like, I get antsy. If I'm not doing something for days at a time, I'm just like, okay, I need to do something. Like, I feel like I'm going crazy right now. But then, you know, I have a hard time sleeping, because, again, like, hearing my heartbeat, if I'm laying down and it's super quiet, like, that makes me anxious. But, you know, I could perfectly sit down for a few minutes, be like, okay, I'm good. Or, you know, still want to shove chocolate down my throat every 5 minutes, but you know, it really depends on every person. And just like with that, like, in order to handle it can also be different. Like, I know some people do a lot of tapping. If you're familiar with having anxiety, sometimes that helps. Sometimes if you put like cold water on your wrists, lavender sometimes helps. Again, with us kind of just doing the going out, getting some sunlight, exercising first thing in the morning, that definitely helps for us. And taking a lot of melatonin before bed, you know, and just stuff like that. And you have to kind of figure out what works for you. And, you know, I could say like, oh yeah, just meditate every morning and tell yourself a good mantra that you're gonna have a great day and that you deserve everything good in the world. And, you know, sometimes that doesn't help. I know for me, sometimes it doesn't help, because I'm like, I don't believe it. And with that, if you don't believe it, then you're kind of doing it for no reason. So if you're one of those people that want to do that, just make sure like you actually believe what you're telling yourself, because otherwise, again, there's not really a point. But for other people, that just is not going to work in general. So, but even then, you know, just remember your good mantra for the day: you deserve all good things. Yeah. We all deserve all good things.
Yeah. And meditation is really good, by the way, but it's a part of the larger thing. Like, you don't, if you just do meditation, it's not going to help. Because meditation can help you mentally somewhat, but it can't change the chemistry of your brain. And then some of those other things will help you do that. like sunlight. Like if you ever think, just if you ever gone to the beach and spent a whole day at the beach,
which is perfect for us.
How tired are you at night? A lot,
yeah.
usually, because you got a bunch of sunlight during the day. So you need to do that on a smaller scale, obviously, preferably every morning. Help set your rhythm, will help you sleep. And meditation is good. I always try and do like 15-20 minutes of meditation in the morning. It helps just with mindfulness in general, but it also can help with anxiety. Be present. Helps you to be in the present moment. Don't worry about the future, and don't worry about what's happened to you in the past. Be in the present. So.
Yeah, it doesn't work for me. I'm still too antsy. I'm just like every 5 seconds I'm like.
Yeah, well that's part of, you got to train your brain.
I know, but it's hard.
Yeah, just like you train your body, you got to train your brain, and it is hard, but it's a practice. It's something you do every day to get better at over time, over years. And then breathing is also super important. Which,
when I have my anxiety, somehow don't know how to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So breathing, you want to make sure you actually want to take less inhales. So a lot of people, when you say, okay, you're having a panic attack, what do? People go,
or they do that.
That's not what that's enough. Yeah, what you're supposed to do is you take one of the techniques.
Here, let's do a practice.
Okay.
Okay, so let's do your shallow breath technique.
Well, for me, I don't know why, but I just like to take shallow breaths. So.
Which I always found weird at first, but then after a while, with the anxiety kicking in, I'm like, oh.
So you just like really center your breath, and you always breathe through your nose. Number one, inhale and exhale. If you can't, then inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth, but try and do it through both. And then you just So that's what she was kind of doing, was the 4-7-8 technique. So you,
not really.
That's like a small example of it. So you want to, like, if you are really having a bad moment.
Okay, you explain, I'll do it.
You inhale for 4 seconds. Exhale for 7.
I thought it was hold for 7.
Or hold for 7, sorry. You're right. And then exhale for 8.
And then repeat.
Yep, and then that you do that 4 times.
Yeah.
No more than 4 times.
Or else you get dizzy.
Yeah. And then when you get really good at it, you can do it 8 times, but never ever, no matter how good you get at it, do it more than 8 times.
Yeah.
That will really help calm you. And then do the other things that we've mentioned, and that will help center you. And if you get in a really bad moment, really you should probably do that in the morning. Like if you want to use that as your meditation technique, do that once, and then after that, just really like focus your mind. Think about. I always like to meditate like in the shower, so you just really feel every drop as it hits your body, and listen to the sound of the shower. That really will help center your mind, because really that's what you're trying to do. Yeah. You're trying to avoid your mind going, oh, I need to do this today. I wonder if I should. I wonder if so and so really like thought that was a good idea when I said that. I don't know. Like all those thoughts you want to get rid of. You just need to be in the present moment. Yeah. And when you're in the shower, you're kind of in a box too, so that's fine. Yeah. But you can whatever works for you. Yeah. That helps a lot.
Yeah.
And
so
breathing.
Don't do that when if you're claustrophobic. But like not even kidding, just doing that little bit of breathing. I'm just like, okay. Yeah. I'm a little bit calmer now. So it actually works. Well, again, depends on the person. But, yeah, we tell you guys this because, we actually deal with anxiety a lot. And this is stuff that has actually worked for us. It's not like we're, just telling you guys this to tell it to you. Like, this has actually worked. Yeah, we joke a lot that our kids are screwed because we both deal with anxiety a lot. So that'll be fun.
But I think a lot of people do, so it's good to know these techniques because you probably will deal with it at some point.
Yeah, and it's, again, especially being an actor, like, you want to be present in the moment, and you want to, be able, acting is about reacting, so you want to be able to respond to what's going on around you, and you can't really do that when in the back of your brain you're like, oh my god, like I'm dying, or oh my god, like I can't concentrate, like it just doesn't help you. And really in any field, like you want to be just there in the moment and just in life in general. So I feel like if you learn how to manage it in a way where, like, obviously you let it happen, because if you force it to not happen, that's not going to work. Like if you just learn how to deal with it in a way that it doesn't control you, then it can be really helpful, and it can allow you to just move on with your life and not let it be like, okay, my life ends now because anxiety took over. So.
Yeah, like with my stuff, like when I'm studying and doing tech stuff, like I'm pretty much just sitting at my computer, but It helps me study a lot longer. Like your mental clarity is way better when you're not like super like fidgety and So it can help you work a lot more efficiently, things like that. So it works really at all facets. So it can definitely help anybody for whatever you're trying to do. So
So with that being said, again, for you actors all out there and all you business and finance folk out there, just make sure you... My brain just had a brain fart. I'm sorry. So make sure you keep watching our videos for great information like this, because honestly, like, it may not perfectly fit into either of those categories we normally talk about, but I feel like it's still super helpful. And at the end of the day, the whole point of this channel is to help people, all actors and business people alike, and everyone in between. Like, we just want to help people, and I feel like stuff like that, even if it doesn't specifically pertain to you, I'm sure you know someone who deals with some level of anxiety that this can help. So with that being said, make sure you guys just keep watching our videos, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe as always. Of course, if you have any questions or comments, please let us know. We would be very happy to answer and respond to those. And yeah, just remember, every day is a good day. Every day you're alive is a good day.
That's right.
And you deserve good things.
Yeah.
And keep in tune for the craziness too, because you're gonna get it from us. So.
Oh yeah. Cool.
Okay. Bye.
Till next time. Yeah.
Okay, if anyone's seen the show iCarly ever, like
iCarly.
More so my generation, but kind of both our generations.
Talking about my generation. Sorry.
I feel like these videos kind of remind me of that, like with all the crazy nonsense that we do. Not to the extreme that they would do it on the show, but
random dancing. Don't add us, iCarly.